Hi there, welcome back to another discussion. If you're new, welcome, and if not, nice to see you again. Today we're talking about how to break bad habits. What's even our habits, what are bad ones, and how they play effects in your life and in those everyday tasks. And so if you're new, press subscribe and let us begin. So what's our bad habits? Let's do a quick exercise. Breathe in and close your eyes. If you're afraid of the dark, keep your eyes open. But imagine, what was the most recent moment you exhibited or remember your bad habit? Was it procrastinating over a task? Was it doing something you shouldn't have? Was it doing nothing at all? What was it for you? And let's sit with that. Was it at home? Was it outside in a different environment? Where did it take place? Really imagine and put yourself in that position. As you begin to see it and think of it, take yourself out of your body and see yourself from a third person. You know how we play games, we can look at that character in a third person POV, where you can see the entire world around them. That's what I want you to do for yourself. And when you see yourself, what thoughts come in? What feelings come in? And what actions do you take? What do you notice about your breathing? What do you notice about your body language? What do you notice about the line of thought you go down? And sit with it. Analyze it. And have a moment with it. This moment allows you to see yourself in a way you probably haven't seen before. Allows you to understand, whoa, this is what I really do, and be truthful to who you are. Now finally, where in your body do you feel it? In your heart, in your mind, in your stomach, in your legs? Where does this energy source, or where does this momentum come from? Touch it. What is it saying to you? This is quite an intuitive thing. This is a time to be open to yourself, and it's a moment to realize and see something deeper within who you are and where this has come from, because it's almost as if it's not even of you and it is of something else, and it's come from that somewhere else. You can open your eyes. That's the beginning of understanding your bad habits. More of an in-rooted behavior that you've learned over time that has become accustomed and comfortable to what you're used to. So it seems like it's nothing at all, or it seems as if it's just a part of who you are, and you never neglect it. You never try to fight it or oppose it, because it's just who I am. So what is a habit? A habit is essentially a performed act that doesn't require much thinking, doesn't require much attention, but automatically happens. For instance, when you wake up, you either go up and use the toilet, or you go up and pray, or you get up and scroll on your phone straight away. You automatically do a set of actions that no longer require a thought process. And what happens is our physical brains strengthen those processes the more they happen. We do one thing and we do it again, and the brain thinks, okay, this is my area, this is what I do. And it reminds you, without you even realizing, they say this is what we do and this is how we do it. A habit is a continued way of being that can be positive or can be self-destructive, that can lead you to do the right thing or make you forget to do other things. As I said, explaining habits, there's a concept of triggers and responses. When I'm at work, I know I do X, Y, and Z. Maybe that's working on a cashier, maybe that's logging some data, maybe that's staying reserved and quiet. There's different habits that we have formed because of the environment, because of the situation, and because of how we view ourselves and what we've done in the past. We're working from there. The trigger and then our response. Do you notice it? Do you see that, here and there, I do certain things in a different way? I behave almost unknowingly because that's just what it is like. If you do, make sure you press subscribe and let's continue. As I was thinking about this, my mind went to, in order to break habits, you need to break yourself. You need to break down who you are, break down what you're about, break down where that came from, and analyze those parts, those blocks, those different areas of what you're made up of. Break down yourself to break your bad habits. Because ultimately, if you're working from a place that doesn't require much thinking, that doesn't require much input from your conscious self, you're acting as that person who has already done that action. Now, as I said, that could be positive, that could be negative. So not being aware of those actions means the outcome is predetermined as well. So I'll ask you, as you look at yourself, remain open to who you are, to what you're about, to the wrong you do, to the right you do, to the things that make things harder for yourself, to the things that make things easier for yourself. You're not doing anything wrong, you're simply living as a human being in this world, trying to understand yourself that bit more. But you know what else I'm thinking of? You know how we discussed the mental self, the physical self, the spiritual self, and the emotional self. In particular to habits, there is an emotional connection to that thing. There's an emotional attachment to, by doing this, I feel good, I feel pleasurable, I feel satisfied, or I feel as if I've made progress, I feel as if I'm doing something, I feel as if I'm on my way. That emotional aspect of a bad habit strengthens the link between it being a rewarding thing or it's satisfying that need we're looking for. A bad habit isn't truly bad. It's merely a habit that you've convinced yourself enough that it's good. It's merely a habit you've convinced yourself enough that, oh, it doesn't matter if I continue. It's merely a habit you've convinced yourself enough that, that's just who I am. That's what we're dealing with. That's what we're looking at. So when I took you through that meditation in the beginning, identifying that trigger, that emotion, that's the point of catching yourself. That's the point of realizing of when the habit is starting to begin, and also the point of understanding where to break it, to work through it. So it really shapes who you are, doesn't it? It really makes up everything you've done and are doing. When you realize that I'm a creature of habits, I'm a creature of influence, I'm a creature of emotion, of my own will, of imposed thought. If this is the case, if this is what Jerry's saying is a part of who I am, is I related to it a little bit. What about that in my life can I use, can I reflect upon, can I change to better who I am, to improve my situation, my environment, my circumstance? Because by changing my habits, I can change my self-perception. I can change the decisions I make. I can do things that maybe aren't just habitual, but are now a part of what I want to be achieving in the end. I can reach goals, I can take action, and not feel as if I'm stuck, not feel as if I'm lost, not feel as if things are just continually happening without any progress. I can see myself change for the better. Not for the world, but for my world. So we've discussed many things today, mainly internal, but there's also that external environmental aspect where friends, family, colleagues, and the different aspects of our environment play a part in what we continue to do. We like to follow the person at work, does all the shortcuts but gets the work done. We follow our friends who are lazy but they're also fun to be around. We follow family members who contribute their experiences onto us. So environment has also shaped those habits. Do you work to the minimum level of what you're paid for, or do you work beyond that? Do you counteract your friend's opinion to motivate them, to push them, or to give them a different perspective on how they do things? Or even better, do you allow your family's perspective on yourself to determine what life you're going to live? The habits you have formed are in every aspect of who you are. So let's bring it all together. All in all, there's actionable steps you can take to break these bad habits. Let's look at incremental changes. An incremental change is about taking little, very small steps to the habit you usually perform. So instead of waking up and going on your phone, you'd wake up and have time for yourself, with your eyes open, reflecting, sat up in your bed. Instead of taking the lift, you walk up the stairs. Instead of talking negatively to yourself, something didn't work out, you'd say, okay, it didn't work out, there'll be another opportunity. Instead of neglecting yourself and blaming yourself for everything that has ever happened, you begin to forgive yourself. Adhere to the being you want to be and better yourself in that way. An incremental change. Imagine when you're walking up this flight of steps. There's many small steps, but soon enough you'll be at the top of the building. An incremental step. One at a time, one a day, one a week, one a month, just to adjust to who you want to be. That also makes me think of getting a coach. If you'd like to have that conversation, to have that accountability partner, to talk further about the situation, click the link below and book a call with me, and I'd love to see you there. And that's where I'm going to leave it. Today's discussion has been on breaking bad habits, breaking yourself down, understanding who you are, where you are, and how that all affects what you do. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have and you haven't already, subscribe and share this video with somebody you know wants to break bad habits, or you think they got something they should change. I'm sure they'll enjoy this video. My name is Kanchefu. Have a good day, morning, night or evening. YouTube thinks you'll like these two videos here, so click one now to watch it. And I'll see you next week for our next conversation.